Now, yesterday, during the King's historic first Commonwealth address, he re-emphasised the family of nations' quote, indispensable role in the most pressing issues of our time. And it was a crucial Commonwealth Day for the monarchy after Harry and Meghan used their vile Netflix reality series to try and tear down the late Queen's most treasured institution. Here's a reminder.
Commonwealth is still described as that, a club of friends who share common values. I find that language really problematic. I sometimes call the Commonwealth Empire 2.0 because that is what it is.
By the time I met Meghan, I think I travelled half of the Commonwealth. Met people and communities all around the world. And through that, I thought I knew. I thought I had an awareness to issues, ways of living, unconscious bias, like all of it.
Yawn. But instead of cutting ties with the institution they find so offensive, the shameless Sussexes have ensured their kids are known as Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet because it is their birthright. Well, Meghan's biographer Tom Bower joins me now to give his expert analysis. Tom, it's interesting, isn't it? Because this Commonwealth Day actually was important because of all of the damage that Netflix series did literally a few weeks ago. Then all of a sudden they say, but come on, we want our Californian kids to be prince and princess. It's beyond a joke. It's beyond a joke now.
Well, it's king and queen of hypocrisy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they are the arch hypocrites. And what's so awful about the Commonwealth thing is that it's vital for Britain. It's important for the 54 nations who are part of it. And they have demeaned it by saying that it's all Empire Stroke 2 and the Netflix thing. But, of course, the greatest damage which the Sussexes have done to the Commonwealth is their accusation of racism. The royal family is racist, which he then peddled back on Harry because he knew it was untrue. It was one of Meghan's many lies. And that is really what's so awful. That's why Charles tried very hard yesterday to assert the importance of the Commonwealth. He's quite right, but whether that'll save the institution...
Well, the problem is it's had none of the pickup as the Netflix series did.
All right, folks, this is peak Sussex hypocrisy. Meghan and Harry have spent years trashing the monarchy, calling it racist, outdated, oppressive. But guess what? They now insist their children be called prince and princess. The royal family didn't even update their website until they were backed into a corner. So that raises the question. Was Charles hoping Harry and Meghan would reject the titles? And let's be real, the public sees right through this. You can't preach about wanting to escape royal life, and then turn around and demand royal privilege. It doesn't work like that. Now here's where things get really disgusting. These are the same people who slammed the Commonwealth. Meghan literally called it Empire 2.0, and made it sound like a colonial nightmare. Harry used to praise the Commonwealth, saying he understood its value after traveling to so many countries. But now, he's suddenly jumping on Meghan's anti-royal bandwagon? Damage of the Sussexes attacks.
What did you make of the prince and princess thing? Because it felt very telling to me that the royal family didn't update their website until they absolutely had to. Do you think Charles was hoping that Harry and Meghan would say, oh, you know what, we actually don't want the title?
Well, I think this is a very sad indication of King Charles's weakness. He should have signed the letters which prevented them taking the titles. And just in the same way that he can't decide, really, whether Harry should come to the coronation or not. I mean, clearly, as a father, he'd like him there, but this isn't about being the father. This is about being the head of the nation. And he should make quite clear that Harry is not welcome. But everything about Charles is so indecisive. He can't even at the moment decide whether he should wear a uniform or not on the coronation, or breeches. And he can't decide which religious group should be represented. This is the problem with Charles, and has been throughout his whole life. He wants to please everybody, and yet he poses as a confrontationist, and it doesn't work. So he should have, vis-a-vis the Sussexes, cancelled the titles, and he should make absolutely clear that Harry is not welcome.
And the thing is, he would have had the public on side.
He will, and the public will be very against him if Harry comes. That is what he doesn't realise.
Well, and what's going to happen there? Because what has really annoyed me over the past couple of weeks is Harry and Meghan, yet again, are treating the coronation as if this is some sort of reality show, some sort of game. Oh, we've received our email invitation now, but we're not going to reveal whether we're coming or not. It's so transparent that they want to make it all about them.
Well, absolutely. That's where the Buckingham Palace is failing, because they shouldn't allow them to get away with it. After all, they weren't even invited to Elton John's party yesterday at the Oscars.
Really?
So,
or the Oscar ceremony itself.
I mean, they really are, nobody is in Hollywood, but somehow King Charles is going to make them somebody in London, the most important event of his life. And, of course, that is the problem. He's not being decisive. And that is going to undermine the status of the monarchy in Britain if he's not very careful.
And so what do you think Harry and Meghan are weighing up?
Well, they're weighing up how they can always promote themselves.
I think they've got to come, though.
Well, they haven't got to come, because if they're put in row 54 behind the column, they won't come, and that's exactly what should happen. But you see, what's
so if they're going to be embarrassed, if they know we're going to be embarrassed by our seating position, about our access to official events, they might decide not to.
The leaks from the palace are all they've had the invitation, and we're going to put them into Iceland. What they should do is they're invited, but they're going to be humiliated. And that's really... Because this week was very interesting how the Sussex news machine has been gurgitating. First of all, there was Harry's misinformation commission report, which went into the dustbin. Then she's going to launch the TIG. Yeah. Then they say the royals were invited to the baptism ceremony. It was interesting that no one else knew about that. Everything is a constant drip now. And then, of course, what was really important was that photograph of Meghan the day after they announced the christening and the prince and princess, that she went to this coffee place. It was what could be called the victory photograph. This was Meghan riding high. She'd scored another one against Buckingham Palace. They really are not very good in Buckingham Palace at anticipating this huge existential threat, a political problem, which they've got to face.
But the thing is, I think you're right to point out it's Buckingham Palace, because William and Kate know, Kensington Palace know of the threat that they pose.
And let's not forget, King Charles had to do damage control during his first Commonwealth address because of the damage Meghan and Harry did. They trashed one of the Queen's most beloved institutions, and now they want their kids to have royal privilege. And here's where it gets even worse. Tom Bower says this is just another sign of Charles's weakness. He says Charles should have signed the letters that would have prevented this from happening. And honestly, I agree. Charles had a chance to put his foot down. But instead, he let Meghan and Harry win this battle. And the problem with that? It gives them more power to demand even more. We've seen this before. Every time they get a win, they push even harder. So the question is, what's next? A demand for security? More funding? A bigger role on the world stage? And let's talk about the internet's reaction. Because wow, people are not having it. One of my favorite comments, Meghan and Harry want all the perks but none of the responsibility. Classic grifters. And honestly, where's the lie? Their popularity is already in freefall, and this just makes them look even more entitled. And let's not forget, this isn't just about the Sussexes. This could haunt the royal family for years. Imagine Archie and Lilibet growing up, using their prince and princess titles while their parents still bash the monarchy. So here's the big question. Did King Charles just make his biggest mistake yet? Because by allowing this, he's giving Meghan and Harry more leverage.
But it's about William convincing his father that he has to take tougher action. And he's not winning that battle at the moment. William is not winning the battle.
In public he's not. We don't know whether in reality. But the problem is that Charles clearly feels guilty vis-a-vis Harry. But why, I don't know. I mean, it's so long ago now. And he's been served so many brickbats, where from the book and the Netflix and everything else. He should stop feeling sorry for Harry. He should begin thinking about his position in the country. And I think other than photo opportunities, he's not presenting a real clear political line for his own survival and the survival of the monarchy. And that is what's at stake in the next few weeks.
You mentioned this website, the TIG. So this is the website that Meghan used to run before she was with Harry. No one looked at it then. It was a way, basically, I mean, I know you talk about it in your book, but it was a way for her to get lots of access to things, lots of freebies. She loves a freebie, Meghan. Even when she was within the royal family, she was collecting all the free clothes, which you're not really meant to do. Do you really think she's going to bring it back, though, sort of compete with Gwyneth Paltrow?
Well, I do, because she wants status. She wants a venue. And it was a bit better than you're suggesting there, Dan. You know, she had 1 million followers. She had a philosophy. She wants
But
to
it got her
preach.
lots of free stuff, right?
She got a lot of free stuff. She
It
loved
didn't
the free
make
stuff.
her money, I guess.
No, but it made her some money. But in the end, it gave her a platform, and that's what she wants now. She wants to be a guru. She wants to be a pontificator. Is all of the future of Queen Meghan, and this is possibly the politician. This is what it's all about, and it's fascinating how they are, in theory, succeeding. But what's interesting is that in America, they're not as popular as they would like to be, and they're being mocked roundly, and that's rather heartening.
Yeah, well, especially if they're not invited to the Oscars, which is, of course...
Just down the road.
Well, yeah, and that's Hollywood royalty.
Exactly.
Right?
That's real royalty.
That's where you know in
And
Hollywood...
for years, Meghan had her nose pressed up against the glass, wanting to be accepted by Hollywood. Then she becomes the star because she marries Harry, goes back to Hollywood. She thinks, now I'm back in Celebrityville, and she's now ignored.
Tom Bauer called them shameless opportunists, and honestly, that's exactly what this is. And Harry. People are already asking, what's next? Will they start demanding money? A seat at the table? More influence in Commonwealth nations? Because this isn't just about Archie and Lilibet. This is about the precedent it sets. If Meghan and Harry can trash the monarchy and still get royal privileges, what does that mean for the future of the royal family? Alright folks, that's it for today's reaction. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's get the conversation going. Do you think King Charles made a huge mistake allowing this? Should he have blocked their titles? Or was this the right decision? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.